and welcome to our viewers in Korea and across the globe. I'm Ji-young, bringing you more of Arirang's special live coverage of South Korea's first ever multilateral summit with countries from Africa. It's the largest global gathering yet under the Yoon administration, hosting delegations from 48 African nations. Under the theme of the future we make together, the leaders have discussed their vision of shared growth, sustainability, and solidarity. Now we turn to the venue of the Korea-Africa Summit, where a joint press conference is set to take place. For more details, I have my colleague Choi Min-jung standing by live. Min-jung, welcome. So what's the latest there?
Right, Jiang, the joint press conference is about to start, and it will be attended by the co-chairs of the summit, President Yoon and President of Mauritania and Chairperson of the African Union, Mohamed Ould Ghazouani. The historic summit kicked off earlier this morning with heads of state and representatives from 48 African countries participating in the opening ceremony. The summit is the first top-level multilateral meeting between South Korea and African nations and is being held under the theme, "The Future We Make Together." The opening session was followed by discussions and a lunch, and the ceremony wrapped up with remarks made by both the co-chairs. Now, considering the fact that this is South Korea's first ever summit with African nations, the summit has been getting a lot of attention, and we can see reporters from all over the world here to cover the summit.
Now it looks like the joint press conference is starting, so let's go live to the scene.
We have just concluded the Korea-Africa Summit 2024. The summit was attended by the heads of states and governments from 48 countries, along with representatives from 4 international organizations. It is particularly significant that this was the first Korea-Africa Summit to be hosted by Korea in the presence of 33 heads of states and the chairperson of the African Union Commission. It was indeed an honor to have co-chaired this historic summit with His Excellency Mohamed Ould Sheikh Al Ghazni, the President of Mauritania. Despite the geographical distance between Korea and Africa, we have been cooperating in various fields as partners with shared aspirations for development. And today, we open a new chapter in the Korea-Africa relations for a shared future we shall create together. First, Korea and African nations agreed to further expand reciprocal trade and investment cooperation to achieve shared growth by signing the Economic Partnership Agreement and the Trade Investment Promotion Framework. To this end, in line with the realization of the African continental free trade area, we have agreed to further strengthen the institutional framework for expanding trade and investment. Furthermore, Korea has agreed to develop an even more efficient system of concessional loans and grants according to the actual needs of African nations. To this end, Korea will expand its ODA to $10 billion by 2030. To facilitate the entrance of Korean companies into the African market, approximately $14 billion in export financing will be provided to relevant companies, enabling outstanding companies from Korea to expand their presence in Africa and contribute to the expansion of sustainable infrastructure. Korea will also support the adoption of e-government and promote the knowledge-sharing program for economic development to boost digital-based trade in Africa. The heads of states and governments identified investing in education to be crucial in realizing the growth potential of Africa, where 60% of the population is age 25 or under. Korea, through its Tech for Africa initiative, has agreed to vitalize digital capacity building programs. Second, the participating leaders have agreed to jointly address global challenges and promote sustainable development. The heads of states and the participating leaders have also agreed to work together to address the global threat of climate change by establishing a climate finance structure that reflects Africa's climate response needs. In addition, Korea will continue to provide support for Africa's food security challenges and expand its food self-sufficiency capacity-building programs, such as the K-Belt Rice Belt Initiative. Korea and Africa will launch the Critical Minerals Dialogue this year to help stabilize supply chains and contribute to the sustainable development of mineral resources around the world. It will serve as a model case. Third, we have reaffirmed the need for solidarity in achieving international peace and security. African heads of state and participating leaders recognized Korea's contribution to peace and security in Africa through UN PKO activities and AU peace and security operations. While serving as a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council in the term of 2024 to 2025, Korea shall further strengthen cooperation with Africa on the international stage. Meanwhile, the attending leaders emphasized the importance of reaffirming the principle that all members of the international community must faithfully implement Security Council resolutions in order to achieve the complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. The joint declaration of the Korea-Africa Summit was adopted with the closing of the summit. The joint declaration is expected to serve as a compass for cooperation towards the future that Korea and Africa shall make together. In order to monitor implementation of the cooperation projects discussed today and included in the joint declaration, sectoral high-level cooperation bodies such as Korea-Africa Economic Cooperation Council and the Agriculture Ministers' Meeting shall be leveraged. In 2026, Korea-Africa Foreign Ministers' Meeting will be held to review the outcomes of the summit and discuss the hosting of the next summit. Since my first year in office, I have emphasized the importance of cooperation with Africa under the Global Pivotal State Vision. I am pleased to have been able to fulfill that promise with the successful outcomes of this inaugural Korea-Africa Summit. The fact that so many African heads of states and delegates have been gracious enough to travel so far to join us here in Korea is a testament to the expectations and trust in our partnership. I look forward to a successful conclusion of this summit by achieving great outcomes through the Korea-Africa Business Summit and numerous other side events to be held tomorrow. Thank you.
다음으로 모하메드 올드 셰이크 엘 가자니 모리타니아
Next, we will be inviting His Excellency, the President of Mauritania, for his remarks.
Tout d'abord, merci aux médias pour votre présence ici. Je suis heureux d'être ici à Séoul pour co-présider ce sommet Afrique-Corée avec mon ami le président de la République.
I am very honored and pleased to be co-chairing the first Korea-Africa Summit together with my good friend, President Yoon Suk-yeol of the Republic of Korea. I would like to express my gratitude to the Korean government and the Korean people for their warm hospitality that has been extended to all the delegations upon our arrival in this beautiful country, the land of the morning glory. Thank you once again.
Je félicite Monsieur Yoon Suk-yeol pour la parfaite organisation
I would like
et
to
pour
also
le succès de notre sommet.
mention that
Le choix du
this summit
sommet,
has been organized
celui du
in a
triptyque
perfect manner. It
croissance
has been
partagée,
impeccable.
durabilité et solidarité
We have
témoignent
been
de la
discussing
vision
the topics
qu'Africains
of
et
shared
Coréens
growth, sustainability,
ont pour la
and solidarity,
considération de leurs
and
relations au bénéfice
these
des
are the
populations.
main principles and part of our common vision,
Tout au long des
and this is a way
interventions et des
forward for
discours des
every
chefs d'État et de gouvernement
individual
ainsi que
in
les
our
chefs des
countries to
délégations des
benefit
États
from.
africains, il est heureux
We listened
de
to the
constater
statements and
qu'il y a un
interventions by the
consensus
participating
autour de nos
heads of
objectifs
states and governments
partagés pour
from Korea
l'essentiel
and
en
Africa.
cohérence avec l'agenda
And in doing so, we were
2063
able to build
et
a
les
consensus
objectifs à
and
terme de la
establish a
ZLECAf.
common understanding that we will
Nous avons
work together
naturellement
to
pour
achieve
certains thèmes
the
abordé
African
et fait
Union
des
Agenda
recommandations de nature à
2063.
intensifier les relations
We
et les
also
échanges
dealt with
entre
a wide
l'Afrique et la
range
Corée
of topics,
pour bâtir un partenariat innovant,
including ways to promote
respectueux de nos
trade with
priorités
Korea
continentales et
and
nationales et durables.
innovation and technology exchanges
Nous avons tous
in a
insisté
sustainable
sur la
manner.
nécessité de bénéficier de l'expérience coréenne
We
reconnue
all understand
notamment
that
dans trois
Korea
domaines
can
clés,
offer a
le
lot,
capital
especially
humain,
when it comes to their experience of
l'industrialisation
economic
et la
development, human capital
digitalisation.
development, industrialization, and transition to a digital economy. In these areas, we have a lot to learn from
En
Korea.
insistant sur les leviers
In addition, we were
importants,
able to reaffirm
population
and
jeune et dynamique,
understand the growth
d'immenses
potential
potentialités
of Africa.
énergétiques,
Africa
et surtout
has a
renouvelables,
young
et des
population.
minerais critiques et rares
There is much
indispensables pour
dynamism,
l'industrie
and
d'avenir.
Africa has abundant critical minerals and other natural resources.
Satisfaction la décision souveraine de la Corée de porter l'aide publique
Against
au
this
développement
backdrop,
à 10 milliards de dollars
We are very
américains d'ici
pleased
2030,
that the Korean government
soit
will
le double
increase
du
the
volume
ODA
actuel
to
et de réserver 14 milliards de dollars
more than
américains à
double
l'investissement
to
productif
about $10 billion
dans des secteurs importants
by
comme le
2030
commerce,
and increase the export finance to $14 billion US dollars. And Korea has made commitments to provide support in terms of infrastructure, human capital development, and technology transfer. So, in conclusion, allow me to say that the Korea-Africa Summit meeting was an opportunity to renew our commitment to shared growth and partnership based on mutual respect and trust. We look forward to more progress. Thank you.
감사합니다.
Thank you very much. This brings us to the end of the joint press statement.
Well, that does it for our special coverage of the first Korea-Africa Summit, which will pave the way for deep and lasting partnerships between the two regions in the years to come. Thank you for watching. We'll bring you more updates shortly with Arirang's News Center. Bye for now.